You know that feeling, right? Staring at your phone, waiting for a text, or sitting in a waiting room, just waiting. That feeling can be absolutely agonizing. But why? Well, today we're going to dig into the science of why waiting is so hard and what we found is a really big deal. I mean, think about it. Waiting for a vacation to start? That's fine. It's exciting. But waiting to hear back after a job interview you think went badly? That's a whole different kind of pain. It can take over everything. So what's actually happening inside our heads? For a long time, we've kind of known that losing feels worse than winning feels good. But what about the anticipation? What about the waiting? Well, science finally has a concrete answer, and honestly, it's a number that might just change how you look at every decision you make. All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. We're calling this the 6x dread factor, and it's this huge, invisible emotional imbalance that is constantly pushing and pulling on our choices in ways we are only now starting to truly get. And look, this isn't just some vague idea. This is backed by some serious data. We're talking about a landmark study from researchers at the University of Bath and the University of Waterloo. They crunched the numbers on thousands and thousands of people to actually measure our emotional response to things that haven't even happened yet. And here it is. This is what they found. 6-to-1. That's the ratio. The emotional pain we feel waiting for something bad to potentially happen is more than 6 times stronger than the pleasure we get from anticipating something good. Just let that sink in for a second. 6-to-1. And if you look at this chart, you can really see just how lopsided this is. That little bit of pleasure you get from looking forward to something good, let's call its emotional weight a 1. It's just completely dwarfed by the massive, crushing weight of dread, which clocks in at a 6. It's not even a fair fight emotionally. You know, the lead researcher on the study, Professor Chris Dawson, he summed it up perfectly. He said that for most of us, the fear of what could go wrong is just a much, much more powerful force than the excitement for what could go right. This isn't just a hunch, it's a measurable psychological fact. So, this is a huge new idea. But where does it fit in with what we already thought we knew about how our brains work? Well, it turns out it adds a fascinating new layer to some Nobel Prize-winning work. So, way back in 1979, the legendary psychologist Daniel Kahneman showed us with his prospect theory that we feel the pain of a loss about twice as much as the joy of a gain after the fact. But this new research adds the crucial missing ingredient: time. It proves that the waiting period before a potential loss is where the real emotional heavyweight lives. Okay, so let's break this down because the difference is everything. Loss aversion, that's the 2x pain you feel after you see your bank account has gone down. But anticipatory dread, that's the 6x pain you feel the night before you check your bank account, terrified of what you might see. It's the waiting that's the real killer. And this intense feeling of dread actually has a name for what it does to us: temporal discounting. Because dread feels so awful, our brain's #1 priority becomes make it stop. We get super impatient and will literally pay a price, make a bad choice, just to get it over with and find some relief from the uncertainty. Right. So this isn't just some interesting thing that happens in a lab. This 6-5 factor is out there in the real world, shaping our society, our economy, and our personal lives every single day. Let's take this out into the wild and see where it shows up. Think about your own life for a minute. Have you ever put off going to the doctor? A lot of the time, it's not the procedure we fear, it's the week of waiting for the results. Or what about selling a stock in a panic just to stop the anxiety of watching the numbers go up and down? Or maybe even staying in a job you can't stand because the dread of looking for a new one just feels like too much? Yeah, that's the 6x factor right there. And you better believe companies know this about us. They use it all the time. Every time you see a limited stock warning or a frantic countdown timer yelling "last chance," that's not just creating urgency, it's weaponizing your dread. It's a strategy designed to make you act fast and think later. This also plays a huge role in the world of politics. As the source material for this explainer points out, there's a reason fear-mongering can be so effective. It taps directly into that 6-to-1 dread ratio. It shows that sometimes making people terrified of what an opponent might do can be a more powerful motivator than getting them excited about a positive vision. And when that happens, rational debate can get sidelined in favor of pure gut feeling. Okay, I know, this all sounds pretty grim. It kind of feels like we're just hardwired to be miserable and make bad choices. But we're not, because the most powerful tool you have against this is awareness.
Just knowing this is happening is the single biggest step to taking back control.
So here's the playbook. It's 3 simple steps. First, just recognize it. When you feel that anxiety welling up, just name it. Say, there it is. That's the 6-by dread kicking in. Second, question where the urgency is coming from. Is this a real deadline, or is some marketing email trying to trick me? And third, consciously choose what's best for you in the long run, not what just gives you the quickest escape from that uncomfortable feeling of dread right now. So, there you have it. A fundamental, powerful, and often invisible force that helps explain so much about our decisions and our anxieties. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you can see the strings, who's pulling them in your world? And what are you going to do about it?